30. We'll start. Do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. Adoption of agenda. It is recommended that the agenda of the August 15th, 2024 regular meeting of the Board of School Trustees be approved as presented.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. Approval of minutes. It is recommended that the minutes of the July 18th, 2024 regular meeting of the Board of School Trustees be approved as presented.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. Statements or questions from the public? There are none. Administrative recommendations, claims. It is recommended that prepaid and July claims numbered 101605 through 101730 be approved as presented.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. Personnel. It is recommended that Nancy Carr-Wright be hired as a library assistant at Fountain Central Junior Senior High School for the 24-25 school year.
So Nancy has been a bus driver for us. She worked last year as a long-term sub in our swimming program, and we're happy to have her as our library assistant this school year.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. It is recommended that Christy Jackson be hired as the lead custodian at Fountain Central Junior Senior High School for the 24-25 school year.
She has been a long-term employee of the district as a bus driver and also was working at the library at the high school. She does summer work for us as a custodian, and when a vacancy came there in the lead custodian here at the high school, she applied for it and is a very worthy candidate.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. It is recommended that the resignation from Christy Jackson as a bus driver for Southeast Fountain School Corporation be approved as presented.
With her new role as a custodian, she's not available to drive a bus.
So what if we
and,
don't approve this?
Two jobs.
Two dogs.
But
We're saving money.
we would have liked her to stay in there, but I think she has some other reasoning, as she noted in there, that she thinks it's best that she not continue driving.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. It is recommended that Grace Smith be hired as an instructional assistant at Southeast Fountain Elementary School for the 24-25 school year.
Grace was a student in Miss Claire's room down in kindergarten a couple of years ago, and she is currently pursuing an elementary education degree at WGU. We're excited to welcome her aboard.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. It is recommended that Tiffany Boland be hired as an instructional assistant at Southeast Fountain Elementary School for the 24-25 school year.
Tiffany did our internship program last year in the life skills program, did a tremendous job, and expressed a lot of interest in coming back this year, and we're really excited to have her there too.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. It is recommended that Ariel Cummings be hired as an instructional assistant at the Mini Mustangs Learning Academy for the 24-25 school year.
Ariel is a parent of Southeast Fountain students, and she also comes to us with a lot of child care experience. So we're excited to have her working in our daycare, taking care of our staff's babies.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. It is recommended that Wendy Hannon be hired as an instructional assistant at the Mini Mustangs Learning Academy for the 24-25 school year.
Wendy served as a long-term sub in that program last spring when one of our staff members there took a different position at the high school. So we're excited to offer her a regular position all year.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. It is recommended that Lindsay Freed be hired as a bus driver for Southeast Fountain School Corporation for the 24-25 school year.
We have a number of drivers that are needed to transport students on some of our mini buses, so the positions tonight reflect that.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. It is recommended that David Thomas be hired as a bus driver for Southeast Fountain School Corporation for the 24-25 school year.
Dave Thomas was a bus driver for us before, and we are delighted that he has agreed to come back and fulfill that need for us.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. It is recommended that Aubrey Riley be hired as a bus driver for Southeast Fountain School Corporation for the 24-25 school year.
Motion. Go ahead, Jill.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. It is recommended that Shelby Fischerow be hired as a bus driver for Southeast Fountain School Corporation for the 24-25 school year.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. Quotes. It is recommended that the quote from Fisher Excavation in the amount of $12,500 be approved to complete the newly purchased property cleanup west of Fountain Central Junior Senior High School.
Last month at the board meeting, I had asked you permission to investigate purchasing the property west of the high school that was going up for sale. And you authorized me to spend up to a maximum of $25,000. I am happy to say that I got that 2 acres for $7,500. And this quote for clearing the property and cleaning it all up would still keep me under the $25,000. So I hope that you will approve that.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. It is recommended that the quote for $12,070 be approved for the concrete pad which had to be installed under the new welding ventilation system.
So the system is there for our better air quality in there, but because of the weight of it, it had to have that pad underneath it.
Motion.
I'll second.
Jill first, Amy second.
Vote. It is recommended that the quote from Gold Star in the amount of $41,218.24 be approved to provide kitchen upgrades at Southeast Fountain Elementary School.
We work very closely with Aramark to determine what our needs are. We have a fund balance that the state requires that we determine these needs and use that fund for our kitchen. So everything in this quote are things that Aramark and Sheena, our liaison person, have identified as things we need in those areas.
Motion.
I'll second.
Second.
Vote. It is recommended that the quote from Gold Star in the amount of $44,856.11 be approved to provide kitchen upgrades at Fountain Central Junior Senior High School.
Again, the recommendations were made with our food service provider. We did receive quotes from 4 different vendors for this. Gold Star is a trusted partner that we have worked with before, and they were the lowest bid.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. Other business. Go ahead and read this one. Read this one. Okay. The next item on the agenda is for the board to hold a lease hearing on the proposed lease agreement for the construction projects. If you're interested in speaking at the hearing, please make sure you have signed the sign-in sheet at the back of the room, which should include your name and address. There will be an opportunity for the public to make comments about the lease rental to be paid under the lease. At the hearing, we will ask that each person limit their comments to 3 minutes and that the topic be limited to the lease rental under consideration. The notice of this hearing on the lease was published as legally required. There are none. We will now open the public hearing. Remember, if you would like to speak, please sign in the sheet, which is located with Mr. Davenport. As I mentioned earlier, we ask that you state your name and address, limit your comments to the proposed rent to be paid under the lease, keep any comments to 3 minutes, and avoid being repetitive if possible. May I have the sign-in sheet now, and I will begin calling the names of those who are interested in speaking.
If there's nothing on it.
No, for that, no, no.
I think there are. Thank you. Let's see. Thank you to all who participated in the hearing. We will now close the hearing and reopen the regular meeting. Could I have a motion and second to adopt the resolution authorizing the execution of the lease?
Motion.
Second.
Vote. It is recommended that the proposed lease agreement for construction projects be approved as presented. Which I think that's what we just did, isn't it? Motion again.
Second.
It is recommended that the trust indenture for the 2024 lease be approved as presented.
That's part of the process. Mr. Willick, our attorney, works with the holding corp and forms that. Each lease.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. It is recommended that the donation from the Southeast Fountain Elementary School PTO in the amount of $5,397 for playground equipment be approved as presented.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. It is recommended that the donation from the New Century Church in the amount of $1,000 for school supplies be approved as presented.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. It is recommended that the fundraiser request from the Southeast Fountain Elementary School Student Council to sell flowers be approved as presented.
The student council under Mrs. Hathaway would like to sell 9-inch garden moms. Their goal is to raise $1,000, and their student council account does things like celebrating teachers during Teacher Appreciation Week, Spirit Days, things like that.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. It is recommended that the fundraiser request from the Fountain Central Junior Senior High School After Prom Committee for the Beat the Bar Challenge be approved as presented.
The fundraising goal is $500, and this is a challenge where during football games and things like that, there's a bar set up and you hang on it and kind of do a pull-up or something and see how long you can hang there.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. It is recommended that the fundraiser request from the Fountain Central Junior Senior High School After Prom Committee to host a hog roast be approved as presented.
They would like to host a hog roast on September 13th before the varsity football game, and they're hoping to raise $1,500 to be used for after prom games, prizes, and decor.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. It is recommended that the fundraiser request from the Fountain Central Junior Senior High School After Prom Committee for a junior high dance be approved as presented.
They would like to have a junior high Halloween dance, a dress-up dance with an entry fee, and selling glow-in-the-dark items. Their goal is to raise $500 for after-prom games, prizes, and decor.
Motion.
Second.
Vote. Elementary report.
We are in our first full week of school. Well, it's been a really solid start. It's been a very busy start, it feels like, as well. Over the summer, we discussed with you the evaluation pilot that we did last year is fully operational with all staff members now in the corporation who are certified and receive that evaluation. Here at the elementary, those informal observations will begin next week, so we're excited to get into the classroom so soon. To support that, we're also reformatting our collaboration time with our staff. We're giving a longer period of time for them to work together during the school day 5 times a year to do intentional data analysis, which we hope then will support instructional practices in the classroom as well. Recently, the Indiana Department of Education released new ELL exit criteria. So we are working with Kathy Davis, our ELL department, to develop a decision tree to help us decide if students meet that criteria or not to leave the program. And just today, Mr. Baines hosted CPI training that helps ensure student and staff safety for our students. We had several participants and we really appreciate him going above and beyond to do that so soon. And lastly, tomorrow is our first Our Shirt Day. So board, if you didn't get your shirt, they are in the box in the back of the room. So make sure you grab one. We have a very limited supply. We'll sell the scrimmage tomorrow night of extras, but we will do another fundraiser right before basketball season to get one as well. So if you got a short sleeve, you'll also be able to get a long sleeve for the winter. So that's all we have for this evening.
Thank you. High school report.
So like Mrs. Morgan stated, school year's off to a fast start. We went 0 to 60 right out of the gate. All positive. It's been a great start. I can't thank enough the staff that supports us in our building, and we're talking, custodial maintenance, our nurse, our tech department, our teachers, our support staff, front office, guidance. Hopefully I'm not leaving anybody out, corporation office. The support that we have and everybody pulling on the same end of the rope. It's been amazing to get started this year. Last week, seems like it was a couple weeks ago, but last week, Mr. Wolf and I met with our students and we talked about 3 goals that we have for all of our students in our building. We want them to be engaged so they can maximize their learning potential. We expect them and want them to treat others with kindness and respect. And our third goal is that we do those 2 things and have fun doing them. That's a message that I intend to push and promote throughout the school year. Probably should have talked to Mrs. Morgan first, but I didn't. So she said that they're going to begin their full implementation of their evaluation or observation protocol next week. Mr. Wolf and I jumped in this week. Why not? Start off biting off more than you could chew. So we've been in classrooms every day. Last Friday, I overheard a student say, "Why is there a principal in every class I go to?" And I thought that's the greatest thing I've heard all week, because we want to establish that that's where they are going to see us the most is in the classroom. We had informal visits last week, and this week we've made 12 targeted visits to provide our staff with the support they need to improve their practice in the classroom.
Nice.
And with that, I'm going to introduce our student reporters, reintroducing our senior representative, Bryson Davis, AKA the Human Laugh Factory.
I still have a joke for the day.
Yeah. And then we also want to welcome our junior representative, Lydia Perkins. We're excited to have both of them with us.
Welcome, you guys.
Go ahead, student report.
The football team will be scrimmaging Attica and Clinton Prairie at 7 on Friday during the football jamboree. And the cross-country team will be in Clinton Prairie for their opening invitational on Saturday at 9 a.m. And the JV and varsity volleyball teams will compete in a round-robin tournament this Saturday here at FC. beginning at 10 a.m. So come out and support our Mustang athletes. And the joke for the day before she does her thing is geometry I can handle, and algebra I even like, but graphing is where I draw the line.
Follow that up with you.
The freshman class jumped out to an early lead in this year's class cup competition after winning the high school-wide rock, paper, scissors tournament. Mr. Wolf and Mr. Shavy met with the students in the gym to discuss expectations for the year and to see us face-to-face and to have the contest. The students are all excited to see who will win the prize this year, even though we all know the juniors are going to win again.
Thank you both for being here tonight. Spotlight is Ashlyn Geigel, German exchange program.
Would it be too much to?
No,
Don't.
Go ahead. That's why I had to give you your question.
Sorry, I think I'll say it. Alright. Only a week and a half into working this thing. Okay. First off, I want to share my gratitude for you guys allowing this trip to happen. In July, we spent 2 weeks in Coburg, Germany, with some host kids. These are our kids mixed with the German host kids. We had a great time. The 3 that came with me are going to go on and on about it. And I'll let them get started, and then I'll fill you in on what they're going to do here in only 2.5 weeks. So, you guys can come up now.
Who's gonna go first?
Yeah.
So I had a really great time in Germany. I think one of my favorite things was it was a public viewing, so like basically the whole town was there. We were all watching like a football game, soccer game live. And that was us there. That was so much fun. It was a great time. It was super loud and it was a great time. And I really enjoyed Samba, which is right there. Sunset was beautiful the first night. And it was such like a good like upbeat mood. And like they had concerts, we didn't understand a single word they were saying, but that's okay, it's still fun. They had like giant like blow up costumes of like seahorses and starfish. That was really neat. And a bunch of performers. And my drummer took me to see a castle, and I'm not going to try to pronounce it. But it's over 1,000 years old and it's still in good condition. It's really beautiful.
My favorite part about the Germany trip was my host family. I really connected with all of them, and like my host, that's me and her. Her name is Rosalie. Her family told me all about the history of the town. Her dad was obsessed with history, even though, like she said, didn't know what he was saying half the time. But I'm so excited for them to come stay here and see how boring Indiana is for 2 weeks. But no, all the Germans, like in the exchange program, were super sweet and like very giving, and I will definitely miss them when they leave after the 2-week stay that they here. But.
Well, I'll walk you through a few things we had up here. Now, my family was amazing. They spoke very good English, which I was very happy about. And like she was saying, it's going to be weird for them to come to Indiana because we've gotten pretty used to it, but they feel the same way about Germany. I mean, they see a 1,000-year-old castle. They see it every day, so they were bored of that. So it's pretty neat to see how excited they are to come to little Podunk Fountain County. So each big town has their own signature brat. In the city we stayed in, Coburg, the brat was about 14 inches long, I think they said, and it has to be exact, or it's not a Coburg brat. And it's in this little round bun, and we fell in love with those. We all had very, very many of them. And then the Samba Festival, Allie was talking about, this is a Brazilian dance festival that goes on every year in Germany. After World War II, relations between Brazil and Germany became very high because of how many people were moving in between. And so now each year, you'll see a bunch of people coming from South America to Germany. And it's like now you have not only the problem of not understanding people in German, but also South America. But it was a very cool experience, and it was on the last night we were there, and this is a sunset we got to see from this big festival. You can see all these people here, and it was an amazing opportunity that I'm sure I may never have again. We were invited into one of the schools of Coburg, and we got to rate the fifth graders on how well they read in English, and we were the judges that day. That was amazing. Getting to they start taking English when they're in fourth grade, and then the fifth graders they already are phenomenal at English. I mean, I can carry on a conversation with some of them, so it's really neat how fast they adapt to that. We went to a couple parks and gardens. Here's a picture of us all by this beautiful fountain. And another thing we did, I don't think we have a picture of, was a castle. It was called Vesta Coburg. And the city of Coburg was kind of in a U shape around this mountain, and the castle sat right on top of that. And watching the sunset from on top of the wall of the castle, it was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Because, I mean, you say castle in Indiana, you think a movie, but you say castle over there, you're like, which direction? And it was a great opportunity. Overall, it was a great trip. It was fantastic to experience the culture, and we thank you for that opportunity.
So how'd your cowboy hat go on over there?
Well,
They amazed you?
funny story. I'm actually glad you asked that. People stop and they take pictures with me. One guy went up to me.
That's what I wanted.
He randomly stared at me. And he went up to me. He took a picture of my boots and he walked away. And a lot of people, they didn't know my name, so they called me the cowboy. My German would be showing me all these pictures he's getting sent, and it's different views of me from like somebody on top of this building saw a cowboy hat, took a picture, sent to him. Is this your person? And I think
My host said her husband sent a picture and said, this must be one of yours. And it was just.
so.
I figured that would stick out just a little bit.
Yeah.
Didn't Julia say that it was more like you see an alien than a cowboy in Germany?
Yeah. So that was pretty neat to get that popularity, I guess, I'm now a YouTube German celebrity.
There you go.
So overall, it was a great trip. There's 12 more high schoolers walking around that could probably share similar stories and similar enthusiasm. I'm currently in the middle of ensuring that field trips are getting planned and transportation is lining up. And pretty soon I'll be sending a message to high school staff asking who wants to go and participate with them. It's crazy to think it's only 2.5 weeks until they're here. And I told them you're going to get to Chicago and we're going to go on a bus and it's going to get emptier and emptier and emptier. And then you're going to stop and be stuck for 2 weeks. So, yeah,
When did you go?
July 1st through 14th. Yeah. We're really excited.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome, thank you.
Discussion items.
He's going to, I'm gonna get my computer hooked back up so I can share a policy that I want you to consider. This is the first reading for a recommended policy change. All right, this is our athletic policy, policy number 307. Anything that you see in green is something that I'm recommending that we add to our policy, and anything that is in red is something I'm suggesting we take out of the policy. So first of all, for our athletic eligibility, right now for high school, it just says that the district follows the IHSAA regulations. The part in green spells out what those regulations are, and it is what is in our student handbook and our athletic handbook, but we feel that it should be spelled out in the policy too, so that those documents match. The junior high eligibility, right now, to be eligible in junior high, it said they must receive passing grades at the end of their last grading period in all subjects, passing that. Well, IHSAA, as you can see at the top, says that they must have passing grades in at least 5 full credit subjects. We're working very hard to make sure that our expectations for our junior high are the same as our senior high, and as the way it was written right now, it was actually more stringent. We want to make sure that will match. So by taking that out and saying no more than 1 failing grade at the end of their last grading period in all subjects, must be currently failing no more than 1 subject. Changing, if a student fails 1 or more subject, changing that to 2, then they'll be placed on a 3-week probation period. And it also says right now, if they're no longer failing any subjects, then normal activity can resume. We want to say if they're no longer failing more than 1, because again, that matches the IHSAA recommendation. So this is the first reading of the policy. Board members, you received it in your board docs too. Next month, I will be asking you to approve the changes that are recommended. To get this, it first came up, each month I have a leadership team meeting, and it came up in the leadership team meeting with Mr. Shaby and Mr. Wolf and Mr. Good, looking at our handbooks and our policies and things, and pointed out that there wasn't an exact match there, so that's why I'm making the recommendation. Thank you. Any questions? All right. The next thing on the discussion, liability insurance review. I just want to make you aware that our liability insurance is with SEFSC, and each year at this time is when they change or renew policies, but also we have a contract with them. And before we renew that contract, I just want you to be aware, we have seen some increase the last couple of years in pricing. My intention is to also consider other insurance. We've had a couple other risk management corporations reach out, and we're going to look at that and compare. And just to assure that if we stay with SEFSC, it's in the best interest of the district. I also want to share with you, with the community, there are new proposed graduation requirements. Many of you may have seen some of those that came out last fall. There was a big public comment period on that. And because of that, the public comment, and including comment from area university presidents and things, that the new proposed graduation requirements would not have even made someone eligible to go to Purdue or IU. So they had some work to do. They worked again on this proposal. And at the State Board of Education meeting yesterday, another new proposal that is a lot closer to the current Core 40 has been proposed. It is open for public comment now. I encourage you to Google the new policy or go to the State Department of Education's website and find that and look at it. And it is a much better match for students going into a lot of things, not just students on a college pathway or a career pathway. There are a lot of options. The state will be sunsetting our current requirements in 2028. So the class of 2029 is who will have the new requirements. But school districts, the State Board of Education has to pass the new requirements by December. And then school districts may opt into the new ones as soon as next school year if they choose to. Proposed payroll changes. I just want to, again, share that last month I brought up to you the possibility of moving from 26 to 24 pays, and also looking at our non-certs who are currently only paid during the school year, about expanding, taking their pay and divided it over 12 months instead of just when they're in school. I presented this to all staff on our first return to work day on August 5th. And then I sent a survey out to all staff to collect their feedback about the changes made. I'm not prepared tonight to ask you to vote on those changes. I did provide the survey feedback to board members, and I'm asking you to look at that feedback and consider it. The board did have a couple questions and have asked me to get some other data to share with them, which I will do, and to share with staff before any decision is made. But I'm hoping that next month, then we can make a decision about what, if any, changes are going to take place. Finally, the other thing we talked about last month that I wanted to give some update on, our archery program did a little bit more investigating on how it was run and so forth. We do have some gentlemen who are interested in taking over that program. We're very grateful for that program and community partnerships that we have. That program offers great opportunities for not only our students, but other students in the community. So I hope that we can continue that. A couple changes that I would like the board to consider as we're doing this, because we want to be fair and equitable with all of our community partners. We don't charge a facility use fee for that, and I'm recommending that we continue to not charge that. However, we do require other community partners to have their own liability insurance since it's not a school-sponsored event. So I would recommend that we need to do that. And then the other, and this came from State Board of Accounts, we currently hold an ECA account for the archery program, and State Board of Accounts has advised us that we should not be having an ECA fund for a group that is not a school-sponsored, it's a community-sponsored. So we would need to pay them their funds that are in the account and have total hands-off of how they handle their financing. So those were answers to questions that came up last month when I spoke to you about them. From there, I'm going to move right into statements from the superintendent. First of all, I want to tell you our current enrollment, count day is not till like October 2nd or something like that. But currently we have 1,006 students. That's 998 in our K through 12 plus 8 virtual academy students. That is 4 more than we had in February. But in addition to that, we also have 12 life skills students that are not Southeast Fountain students, but they attend here and their districts pay proportionate share for them to be here. So we have our 1,006 students plus those 12. Now, there's still a lot of time between now and count day, and there will be move-ins and there will be move-outs, but we're hoping, we're really happy and seeing some really good numbers with our enrollment, so very happy with that, and I'll keep you updated between now and count day, how that affects us. Anyone who is out of district has to apply to come to our district. And I just felt like I have signed more, and it's a good problem to have. I felt like I have signed more intent to transfer forms or request to transfer than in past years. So I asked Mrs. Good she keeps those forms. To date, we have enrolled 80 students who do not live in our district. So of this 1,006, we have 80 students there who want to be in Southeast Fountain Schools. And that's great. It's because we're doing great things here and we have great staff. So I'm really appreciative of that. I want to give a thank you right now to Hillsborough Hardware. The Southeast Fountain Corporation received 198 tubes of caulk for our building trades program in our vocation ed. It's a value of $752.76. And they made that generous donation because they always love to support our building trades. So thank you to Hillsborough Hardware. I would like to share something that came from the Crawfordsville women's golf. They said that my girls from Crawfordsville High School came to Rivercrest for a meet against Southeast Fountain. I want to tell you how awesome your girls, parents, and coach were. 2 of my girls are brand new, never played, and were super nervous to the point of tears. Each one of the Southeast Fountain girls helped them, encouraged them, and were patient with their learning experience. We really appreciate the hospitality and sportsmanship of your girls, and the parents too were very helpful, kind, and understanding. You should be proud, and again, thank you. And that came from the coach at Crawfordsville. So thank you, Coach Doss, and our girl golfers for helping to make their experience better, and for, again, showing the community what kind of great students and coaches we have here at Southeast Fountain. I would like to share some good news that I found this week. The Purdue University Research Department researches a lot of things about schools, and one of the things that they researched was graduation rates throughout the state. And I am happy to say that Fountain County has the highest graduation rate in the state of Indiana, with a graduation rate of 97.5%. So thank you to Fountain Central Virtual Academy, and that also reflects both Attica and Covington as well in the county, but we are doing a great job. So thank you, Fountain Central administrators, staff, and families that we value education in this county, and we're #1 in the state. So I'm very proud of that. I would like to thank all of our students and staff for a great start to the school year. You know, it's been exciting. It's always nice to have people on campus. It gets a little lonely here in the summer, and we just came back ready to learn and ready to have great years. So I'm excited for that. And then the last thing I wanted to share, thank you to Aramark, and they have provided us with some feedback as some things that they have already started. First of all, I'm going to share a proud promotion. Natasha Hernandez, who joined us last year managing one of our cafeterias, was promoted to food service manager over both schools. Natasha's been a bright light to the Aramark program, and they're excited to offer her this opportunity. They've added a production leader at each school to offer Natasha more opportunity to focus on projects that will only better the program. Natasha and Shelby Garrett spent a week in July taking a culinary class with IDOE. They worked with chefs and other food service leaders from around the state to hone their cooking skills, focus on presentation, and cook together and learn other fun recipes they could bring back to our students. And then the last thing I want to share, when you came in tonight next to the greenhouse, you might have noticed some boxes out there and some dirt next to it. That is a project that they came to me and asked if they could do for the Farm to School Planter Project. So what this is, there are 3 new planter boxes that have been built with the help of Dwayne Bush. And Natasha secured a dirt donation from Seymour's. We will be planting pumpkins, 1 for each school and 1 for the administration building, because I have some competitive people in my department too. Whoever grows the biggest pumpkin gets a prize. Our first event in the Farm to School program. After pumpkin season, then the ag class will use those boxes to grow native plants to help attract bees. And we're so fortunate, Aramark said they are so fortunate to partner with our new ag teacher, Claire. So, this is a great project that Aramark has spearheaded and got going to get all of our students and staff involved. And like I said, I have some people that work in my building that are all excited and have great plans for winning the prize. So, Mrs. Morgan and Mr. Shaby, you better get your staff on board, because Mrs. Alexander is like the one to beat.
We know.
We know her.
So thank you, Aramark, for doing that. We're really excited. Thank you.
Statements or concerns from the board?
I just want to welcome everybody back and look forward to a really good year. I think, as we've said before, we're getting the greatest staff that we could possibly get with you guys. And I think the kids seem excited. All the ones I've talked to so far this year, not really heard any downers, right? They're all ready to come back and really excited. And that's a reflection on you guys. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you for all you guys are doing. I think it's absolutely amazing. It was nice to get a text from somebody that doesn't live in our county that our county was #1 in graduation rate, and that is absolutely amazing. So thank you guys.
Anything else? Document signing and adjournment.
I'll give a motion.
Second.
Vote.
I got 7:17 done.